Welcome to today's video, where we dive into a powerful teaching from Abraham Hicks. In this workshop clip, we'll explore the difference between virtual reality and selective sifting. The main takeaway from this topic is that you don't need physical manifestations to feel good. You can use the virtual reality process to create positive experiences in your mind and align with source energy for true satisfaction. This clip is from the Abraham Hicks workshop held in San Diego, California on February 15, 2003. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more Abraham Hicks content and teachings on the law of attraction, manifestation, and living your best life. Let's get started.
How about virtual reality? How come you're not talking about it so much today? Because my question was about virtual reality with me. As you know from the past, I was doing the meditation thing, but the VR thing was kind of for me. So what I would do is, like for me, when I would listen to music, I'd get goosebumps. To me, that felt like I was VRing. When I was petting a dog, when I was kissing a good-looking girl, or when you know what I mean? That to me was VRing. Is that VRing?
Well, your first question is, why are we not talking so much about virtual reality?
Yeah.
And our answer to that is, as we offered the idea of virtual reality to hundreds of thousands of people, we noticed that hardly anyone was taking the time to do it.
Yeah.
In other words, we realized that while you do have the ability to direct your thought for pleasure, for whatever reason, more of you are focused upon reality. And so then we began talking about rampages of appreciation. Then we began talking about looking for something to feel good about. Then we began redirecting the attention to caring so much that you feel good. And we discovered that for most people, the idea of the path of least resistance was a faster way back into alignment than the conjuring of ideas.
Okay.
We still encourage it. Esther does her virtual reality many times and every day. She was telling Jerry earlier today that she has discovered a few patterns of virtual reality that get her into a good feeling place every single time, and she just uses them over and over and over and over and over again. Every process that we've ever offered, whether it was the virtual reality process or the rampage of appreciation or just looking for reasons to feel good, every process without exception is offered because we understand that if you don't hold yourself in a vibration that allows what you want, then you cannot be the recipient of these things that you're wanting. And so some things work better than others. Esther dug out a book that she had worked on for 2 or 3 years that was full of focus wheels. And she said to us, Abraham, you rarely even mention a focus wheel anymore.
Yeah.
And yet so many of us were receiving benefit from the focus wheel. And we say, it doesn't matter what you call it. We're just trying to get you to direct your thought into directions that feel good.
Okay.
And every day there's a new game. In other words, there's always another idea. We feel sorry for any of you who are trying to do all of the processes that we've offered you.
But the VRing could be listening to music that you love, petting a dog. Are those all VRing?
Well, the difference between the virtual reality that we are suggesting and what you are talking about there, you're talking about selective sifting. You're talking about being in a moment and just looking for the best in that moment. Where the virtual reality was more about understanding that there are some moments that are so dominantly not what you want that you may not find anything right here and now. Mm-hmm. But if you have your bag full of ideas that you can switch to quickly, then you are always in a probable place of getting to a good feeling place. Okay. Also, we do not really understand, in other words, we understand all things, but we don't get why physical beings are so reluctant about using their mind for pleasure.
Yeah.
If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be virtual realitying all over the place. In other words, we would be observing, we would be sifting for positive aspects. But we have to tell you, when you walk into almost any space, especially if you are indoors, it is limited what you can find within that space that can really ring your bells. Mm-hmm. And when you are using virtual reality, you are unlimited, you see. And since we are always expanding thought, we are always reaching for thoughts that are pleasurable on an enormous level, you see. And we would do the same thing if we were standing in your physical shoes. We would be using our mind for pleasure. We think that sometimes what happens as we offer these processes is people say, I would be willing to do the process so that I can create a reality that then I can observe observe and feel better. And we say, there's something screwy in that thinking. We're talking about being able to stand anywhere, anytime, and connect to source energy through the power of your mind. And you are saying, okay, I'll use the power of my mind to create a situation so that I will have a reality that then I can observe. And we say, we keep not getting the point across. We keep wanting you to understand that you don't have to create a reality to observe that is good in order to live something that is good. You can create a reality in your mind. You can create a virtual reality and get the same energy run from it. And life can be ultimately even more satisfying from an experience like that because there's not so much baggage. Do you know how many beautiful girls you can kiss in virtual reality? And do you know how expensive it would be to keep up with all of them in reality?
Very expensive.
You see? And so it is much less cumbersome to find yourself in alignment with who you are through virtual reality. That you do not have to deal with all of the manifestation issues. It is our promise to you that you will reach a place where you will not need manifestation in order to live joyful life experiences. You can stand where you are, and we are not trying to talk you out of manifestations. Manifestations are a wonderful thing. But friends, manifestations are bulky things. Manifestations need dusting and insuring and transporting from place to place. In other words, there is so much more life-giving things in the power of your mind. And we want you to begin feeling that with your inner being. Your inner being does not pack a bag every time you move to another place. In other words, your inner being is consciousness. And you say, yes, but I am not only consciousness, I am physically focused. And we say, but you do not need to be as dependent upon the reality of things in order to feel good as you all think. And that trips so many people up because they stand in a place that is not perfect in all ways, and their dominant intent is to get the place cleaned up so that it will be perfect in all ways. And so many lives are wasted in the process of trying to control things that you can't control and squandered in the absence of connection when you could use your mind to go immediately to a life-giving place, you see.
Yeah.
And so what are we saying? Go to a life-giving place and it will give you manifestation. True enough. Go to a life-giving place not because you need manifestation, but because it is a life-giving place. And that's what we were talking to you about. You're working with these people. As you, in your mind's eye, have the satisfaction of aligning with who they really are, you're going to have a glorious experience. And while it will enhance the physical experience of your interaction with them, the main event is the experience that it will give to you.
Definitely. Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Abraham.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I hope you found that clip insightful. Remember, using the virtual reality process allows you to step into a space of joy and alignment without needing to see physical changes first. It's about creating the feeling of satisfaction, and from that aligned state, everything else flows. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who could use a little upliftment today, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Until next time, stay aligned, stay positive, and keep creating your reality.